And I've come down to the other side, yeah, and as you can see the gravestones are a lot smaller, where obviously the profane peasants are buried, you know what I mean? See, but they'll still be related in some way, but minor bloodlines, do you know what I mean? But that just goes to show you, yeah. And look, surrounding, because these are going up the hill, look, but again you can see the old obelisk there. Look, you see that big obelisk? Oh baby, see? And again, these are like the important people. Oh, it's my alarm, my gym. Let me turn that off. As you can see, I'm at the other side of the mountain or hill, whatever. I was right up there into there. But as you can see, look, these ones here, look, the ring, you know what I mean? These are the important people, the Freemasons, where we have the minor profane. We've got them in. You see what I mean? These are more likely entered apprentices and sojourners, you know what I mean? Where these, as you go up the hill, you get bigger gravestones because you've got more money by pilfering off the profane, you know what I mean? Oh baby. And again, we're now seeing, you know, as we go up here, look, you're getting more elaborate because it's going more and more up the hill. And I'm not going to go much further, there's no point. You've got the score, my profane friends. And as you can see, there's another obelisk. Let me just put this here, this on here like that. We'll see if we can do it yet. And as you can see, look, we're getting more obelisks, so it shows you that all of these people here are all Freemasons, all Masonic, you know what I mean? And as you go up into the top of the hill, you have more money, more power and more wealth within the Masonic lodge. And if you're without the Masonic lodge, you get yourself a little gravestone because you didn't earn much, you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. See, all Masonic, all Masonic. And so long as they get the big gravestone at the end of their life and they've pilfered everyone, they're happy with it, you know. I'm not going back up there, that was knackering, I'll tell you that for now. I'm just going to go to the other side of this graveyard. I haven't seen much. I just thought I'd show you. Obviously I've gone to show you the views of the different places up there, but the bigger the grave site, the higher up the importance you are, isn't it? Down here you've got the profane, little grave sites, little gravestones, look, and then up the top of the hill you've got all the oh, there's another one there, look. Let's go get it, baby. As I said, anyone of importance from the Masonic lodge is there. Look, he's on the, can you see his plumb line? Look, he's got his plumb line, look, and his level, look, plumb and level, and there's your square and calm piss. And in fact, I'm going to have to walk over there just to show you this. Oh, now I'm climbing the hills again, which I don't want to do. It's like knackering, you know what I mean? I've got sciatica in my arse cheek, it's killing me. Oh mate. But here, look, we have the cross through the crown, look. The cross through the crown again, telling me it's a Masonic Freemason. There's a very important grave site. Yeah, look, I'm going to have to go up higher. Oh baby. But as you can see, look, the profane graves, yeah, the master masons down there, and enter the journers and all that. But as you go up here, you're getting into like the Knights Templars, the real elites, you know. I'll have to just show you this. Oh my god. But again, oh hey, look at this. This is power. This is power. Look at that. The obelisk, look. Massive obelisks. You've got world domination balls. Let me get up here a bit. These are very important people that are still ruling and controlling. You see the dominant. Let's get up here. See, look, world domination balls, pyramids with the sun god, and these are rich elite families. See, look, these are the ones with all the money. Let's walk a little bit more along here, just a bit of crack. You know what I mean? but they're still ruling and controlling Inverness, and always will do. You know, the trick is getting down here without Tommy titching over your ass, you know what I mean? Right, I'll go along here a little bit more and I'm going back. But as you can see, all this money, all this wealth, there's another obelisk through there. There's just obelisk after obelisk after obelisk of the rich elite Freemasons. But it shows you the people and the wealth. Look, can you see it? Look, see the three circles, look, make a square. See, all Masonic, look. And the more wealth you are, the more granite you can afford in death, because in life you screwed over the profane. See the little gravestones down there, look, bottom of the hill, the profane. And then as you go up here, look, again, see the 3 circles, look, the big Masonic urn. The more you get up, the bigger the wealth, the bigger the power. We've got all them obelisks through there. I wish I could go up there and show you, but my leg, I can't. You know what I mean? I'm just like, that big one there, look at that. Oh God, I've got to go up there, because if I don't, I'll regret it. Oh, again, look, points within circles, circles within squares, look, and then you get your world domination ball, you see? And that goes all the way around here. But do you think this costs next to nothing? No, it's all that Masonic wealth. I mean, look at the artwork on that, look. That's beautiful. But again, is this a secret entrance into the hill that has the stash where you can get food, supplies and water if the profane ever revolt? You know what I mean? Because that's what you're looking at. That is what it is, you know. That's Lucifer by the look of things. But that's what it is, you know. Look at the tunnels they built in Saigon and all that, you know. It's in for nothing. That's Lucifer's face, I think. But this is what I'm saying. These people are still controlled. Look at this granite here, look. I mean, how many houses could that buy? See? The Freemasons, look. See? And more obelisks. Look. All this granite. Look at the little grave sites down there, look, compared to all this granite here, look. See? Imagine all the money if that was used for good. To help the profane, to help the poor. Look. Look at another big obelisk, look. See? The Pharaohs, look. See, look at this. These are your Freemasons. Who's that? Who are interred here. Whoever the Pharaohs, you see. Big Masonic families. Big money. Go through here, look, I ain't going to go no further. We've got a big statue here, look. Who's this? See him sitting there, look? God knows who that is. I'll go a little bit further because I don't want to get attacked by the mingers. The mingers, look, they're everywhere. Oh, the mingers are attacking. All this granite, look, and wealth and power. Bloody hell. Yeah, look at this, look. Wow, I know. A profane person lives here. Look at that. See that big moth? Look at that. What do you think? A pharaoh? What do you think, eh? You reckon someone, yeah, he's even called Mason, that James Mason, the Mason. West Arbiter. I can't read it. Can't read it. But again, is this a secret tunnel? Yeah, he's got an obelisk on this side as well, look. A broken one for Freemasonry. It's a broken obelisk. Yeah, and then he's got this big Masonic urn here, look. The big Masonic urn. Am I in Rome or Greece? Or am I in, I don't know. That's got to be in Rome, isn't I? With all these obelisks around here. And the Greeks. See? Anyway, wow. You know what I mean? Wow, my profane friends. I'm going to turn back now. I didn't think I'd go further. And again, you know, if you're living up the top here, I'm going back in a minute. I've got to go down. I can't jump down there. So I've got to go this way. So we'll have some excitement. Oh, baby, and I'm glad I did. I'm always glad I always go a bit forward, because it shows me, you know, and it teaches me. And I learn that no matter where you go, you're finding these Freemasons with all this power, with all these obelisks and all these money, all this money. You know what I mean? See that? Look, see where you put the square? Look, you put my drink down. Oh, oh, no, it ain't. That's a C. I thought it was a circle on the square, but it ain't. And here we go. Like I said, these are the rich elite that you'll never ever oust out of power because they've been here for centuries and decades. Look, world domination balls on pyramids. You know what I mean? It's all Freemasons. They got the money, they got the power, and they own it all. You know what I mean? Look at this. Oh, it's me falling, sorry. Right, wait there. There's me apologising to you lot for falling. I'm trying to, wait there. I'll turn my gym alarm off. But again, you see the power and the wealth. The power and the wealth of the Masonic elite with their little obelisks. You see? These are the elites. You ain't going to oust these out of your towns and cities because the police protect all these people. You know what I mean? You think you're going to vote them out? No, because they screw the vote every time. And they put who they want in power. You know what I mean? Beware the Freemasons and their votes and trying to trick you into you voted for him. So it's your fault he's in power. Look at all them profane graves. Look, you see them? Look, they're the profane graves. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that one with the big X on. We know what that represents, don't we? Hey, my profane friends. That's the St Andrew's cross or the St George's cross. Blah blah blah. As far as I ain't seen 3 of them. And then all down there is all the profane little graves, and up here you got all these big Masonic. All the money, look, they've screwed out of people, the businesses they own and everything else. They put nothing back into society, not a fucking penny. You know what I mean? Look, still in the Masons are here, look, the Masons were up there, look, and the little minor Mason is down here, look, you see? The Masons. But I don't know who they are or what they are, you know, I can't, you know, like I said, these ain't all bad people. Some are willed in and all the rest of it, but they're all on an agenda to protect their own best interests. That is a fact. Of course, a little gravestone up there, look. I ain't going to run up and get that, I can't run up there. But let me show you if I can screw in. See it? Where is it? Bloody hell, there. See that, look? That little stone on its end. See? Crazy. But it's quite a lovely, it's a beautiful graveyard, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You know, like I said, not everyone in here is bad, I presume. But I just know the Freemasons, you know, they've put so much wealth into this granite. You know, these